Hello, and welcome to the Wine Educate podcast, where we explore WSET education, study tips, and practical advice for wine enthusiasts and professionals. Okay, episode 6, we are covering top 10 most frequently asked WSET questions. These are really things that you guys ask me the most. I get constantly emails with the same subject line in there, and I thought I would just cover them all in one podcast episode. So let's do it. First question: can I take WSET courses if I'm not in the industry? Yes, absolutely. And this doesn't just apply to level 1. I get folks that are non-industry folks in all levels, level 1, 2, and certainly even in level 3. It seems to still be evenly divided. People really get interested in wine. It's a fascinating topic and want to take it all the way. So no worries. If you are not in the industry, these classes are also for you. Question 2, do I need to complete level 1 before level 2? No, absolutely not. There's no prerequisite for that at all. You can jump right into level 2 if you want to. That is your choice. But if you ask me, I'm going to say that you should start with level 1 because that's what I always say. It's the benefits are all there. I covered that in the last podcast, right? Question 3. Similarly, do I need to finish level 2 before taking level 3? Well, again, so technically the answer is no. So try to find the exact language in the handbook today, because it used to be that WSET had a very strict policy. You needed to take level 2 before you take level 3. They sort of loosened the reins on that a little bit, leaving it really up to the decision of the APP. So if you're leaving that decision up to me, I'm going to say you need to take level 2. And I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not trying to make you waste your money. I want you to do well. And if you may have a little wine knowledge, you may have been in the industry for a bit, that's awesome. I'm not saying you don't know your stuff. But the level 3 course and the exam, it's a lot. There's a lot of complexity there. And if you just jump right in without having any experience about what the WSET courses are like and how they're structured, you may be in a bit of trouble. Now, there's definitely exceptions. So you guys call me, you reach out to me, and we can talk about it. If you say, Joanne, I've taken all the Quartermaster Somm and all the Wine Scholar Guild, and I've lived in France for 3 years and worked. Oh, fine. Absolutely. Let's talk about it. But I just want to make sure you're going to be prepared and you're going to succeed. All right. Okay. What if I miss a class session? This has to be the number one asked question you guys ask me. Get very nervous about missing classes, as you should, right? You pay for this course. In class, we taste wines. You get to ask questions. So coming to class is a big part of the course, absolutely. So here's what I say for this. If you're taking level 1 and you're taking it over 4 weeks, and if you know you're going to miss one of those, I would say postpone until the next time we offer it, because essentially that's a fourth of the class that you're missing, and that's a shame. So I would reschedule that. Of course, it's a one-day course. You're either there or you're not, to get all the material in. For level 2 and level 3, it's a little bit trickier. We are humans. We have lives. We do things other than wine classes. I completely understand that. And if you look at a course and you then cross-reference it with your personal calendar, you say, I'm going out of town this week for work. I have a wedding to go to on this day. Looks like I might miss some classes. Well, let's look at that. If you're signed up for level 2, say you're taking it over 8 weeks, that's 8 classes. And if you're looking at your schedule and you're like, well, I definitely am going to miss the 3rd session, but everything else it looks pretty good. I would say go for it, because in a perfect world, you'd make all the classes, but that's just not the way it works. And I would say most students miss at least one class. Even the students going into it thinking, right, I've got a clear calendar, I'm definitely going to be able to make all these classes. Life happens, and we all know that. You can get sick, you can get called away for work, so many things. If you miss a class, it is not the end of the world. Yes, we do taste in class. We taste 6 wines. You can come to the shop and get some of the wines if you want. I know that's a bit of an expense, but really the main thing I want you to do is to keep up with the material. So make sure you do your reading, whatever active learning you're doing, your flashcards, whatnot. Just stay on top of it. Bring your book on the plane. Make a new friend. I'd be like, what book are you reading? You get my drift, right? If you know ahead of time that you're going to miss 3 classes, I would say postpone, okay? Because those 3 classes are ones you know you're going to miss. And then there's going to be others that you might end up missing. And if you missed half the course, what a shame. Because really, it's lovely being in class and tasting the wines. Same thing goes for level 3. Level 3 is a long one, right? We have 15 classes in level 3. I was thinking about setting up some sort of award, like a class attendance award for the perfect level 3 class attendance. But I don't think it's ever happened. There's always been something that's going on. Depending, life gets in the way and you may miss a class, but just stay up on your reading, right? Okay. Are payment plans available for level 2 and level 3? Yes, there are. So for level 2, we divide it up into 2 payments, and level 3, we divide it up into 3 payments. Now, we do add a 10% interest charge onto these payments because we're sort of carrying the load, as it were, but they are useful because you could pay one of your deposits, installments, and get your hands on the book. And as you know, that's key to the success. So say you're taking level 3, you can sign up a couple months in advance, pay that deposit, get your book, and be in good shape. If you want to do that, there is not an option online to do it. It gets a bit fiddly. So email and we can get that sorted for you. What do the exams look like? Question 6 for levels 1, 2, and 3. Level 1 and level 2 are multiple choice, right? Multiple choice questions. So bring your pencil. Level 1 consists of 30 multiple choice questions, and you have 45 minutes to do it in. Level 2 is 50 multiple choice questions, and you have an hour, 60 minutes to do it in. And then we take a massive leap into level 3, and you have a 2.5-hour exam. So what is this like? This is where the tasting component comes in. And you guys always ask me, like, oh, you're going to test me on my tasting. Not until level 3. And even then, it's 1 white, it's 1 red. I will get you through it, not to worry. It's the theory part that's a doozy, right? So you have the way it's broken up for level 3 exam. And it's pretty apt that I'm talking about this right now because giving level 3 exams tomorrow, first 16 people have a big group this go round. So I had to split them up. I don't like there to be more than 8 people in each exam because everyone needs space. And I'm only using 1 bottle, and 8 people is enough for test taking conditions because I want you to make sure you have enough wine to taste. Anyway, the first part of the exam is the tasting. You have half an hour, and then we regroup, maybe 10 minutes, and you take the theory portion, which is 2 hours. The theory portion consists of 50 multiple choice questions and 4 essay questions. So long form essay questions. They're broken up into smaller questions within the essay questions. We'll get into that at another point. You have 2 hours for that. So best case scenario, it takes 2.5 hours, but really it's a little longer for setup and in between and whatnot. It's it's a long process. It's a big test to take. So that is what the exams look like. Question 7. Can I take the exam on a different date than the listed exam date for my course? The answer for that is yes, you can. When you register for the class, you've automatically paid your exam fee. When I register you for the exam is when the exam fee gets triggered, meaning I have to pay WSET for your exam fee. So that won't get used, so to speak, until you register for the exam. We teach these classes multiple times a year, so you can hop on the next exam date. I will say, though, that I always give priority to my current class for that current exam date. And if it does get full, you may not be able to hop on. So sort of what happened with this level 3 tomorrow. I had so many folks from the previous class that delayed taking it that now want to take it. So I had to set up 2 different times for the exam to accommodate everybody. It all depends also according to your APP. So we're Wine Educate. We are allowed to set our own rules and parameters for this. We'll say there is a timeline. You can't come back like 5 years later and say, Joanne, I'm ready to take the exam, because the exam price has gone up, right? And also it's a little too fiddly. So we'll give you a little time, a little grace period. Maybe the date really wasn't good for you. Life gets in the way. But I would encourage you to get the exam done. Get it on your calendar, gun for it, and take it. Because if you wait too long, you're never going to take it. And that's no good. All right. The big question, the sad question. I don't like this question, but it needs addressing. What happens if I do not pass? All right. You guys get very serious and very stressed out. And I do understand that. It's a big deal. And tests are scary. It may have been a while since you've taken a test, right? Especially one that involves filling in little dots with a pencil, right? It's been a long time. I will say that the pass rate for level 1 and level 2, specifically with me, is pretty good. We're about 95% pass rate for those courses, which is great. It is the level 3 that's a doozy. So the global pass rate for level 3 is about 50%. I'll have to see when the next examiner's report comes out. I will tell you all about that, and we'll look into the nitty gritty. But it's about half, which is not ideal. And is my goal to get that number way higher in the courses that I teach. So you may not pass. If you may not pass, you can retake the exam. That's okay. You can take the exam as many times as you like. There's no statute of limitation on how many times you can take it. It is up to you. I will say you're going to have to pay every time you retake, and that's a bummer, right? That's a bummer. For level 3, that may very well be a possibility. Now there's 2 parts, okay? So you can very well pass the tasting and not pass the theory, and then you just need to retake the theory, okay? And just pay for the theory. So there is that. And I will say that instead of you guys getting so worried about not passing, should focus on the steps you need to take in order to pass with flying colors, right? To pass really successfully. Then I do know you have concerns. What will I gain from WSET classes? Ooh, all the things. First of all, knowledge, right? Completing the courses, you'll get a deeper understanding of wines. You'll enhance your tasting skills. And after all, when you pass your exam, you will gain an internationally recognized certification that you can tell your aunt about at Thanksgiving and put on your resume, right? And physically, you're going to get a certificate and a pin. So seems like they've now come up with digital certificates. So I need to get on board with that. So now you have a digital certificate, which is easier to share. Maybe that's something you can attach to your resume. Anyway, we're entering modern times with our digital certificates. But the pin is still a pin. So much fun. So actually, tonight is the pin party. And we did have quite a few people RSVP, but nothing to worry the fire marshal. I think we're good on that. And it's going to be so fun. Everyone's going to wear their pins. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to like make a sash? But of course, I had no time for that. But maybe next year I'll have the sash. You guys let me know. Do you want that? Maybe not. Who knows? Okay. So you get the knowledge, you get the certification, you get the actual pin, and you make wine friends. You know I love that. The wine friends and personal connections. You never know where these things will take you. When people take classes with us, we then invite them to the membership, our Indie Wine Society, so we can taste more wines, hang out, get some interesting folks in to talk to us about topics. 10, the final thing you guys asked me about the most. What other resources are useful to help with preparing for class? And this is not something that I can just easily answer. This probably merits its own total own podcast in itself, because they are lots of resources. They are far more resources available than when I was taking these courses. Of course, there's the books, there's the magazines, but now we have all the online resources, all the tools. We offer flashcards. We're working on expanding the resources that we offer to you guys as pre-study and training resources. There's YouTube videos. I mean, Wine with Jimmy. We'll talk about Jimmy, but he's definitely a favorite for people preparing for the WSET classes. So I'm going to go into this in greater detail. So I just spoke about the level 1 class, how to prepare, and soon I'm going to talk about the level 2 class. I have books I want to talk to you about, best online resources, my favorite podcasts. I'm a big podcaster, as you know, and I'm going to soon have an episode of my top 10 favorite wine podcast episodes from 2024. So, all right, that was a lot to cover, the top 10 questions. And I'm sure you have other questions. I do hope that was helpful in answering many of them. If you have more questions and want to speak with me directly, I'm now booking discovery calls. So pick a specific time on the calendar. I'll put the link to the discovery call calendar in the show notes, and we can book a time together to have a little Zoom chat about whatever issue is your pressing issue, so I can help you out. Okay. Hope that is helpful. And I will speak with you guys next week. Have a wonderful week.